Hello there. Welcome and thank you for choosing to watch TOGAF 9.1 Enterprise Architecture Framework Overview course. Let me begin by taking a couple of minutes to narrate an incident that recently happened to an acquaintance of mine. Let's call him Charlie, just so we don't expose his identity. Also, it is going to take a couple of minutes for me to drive home the point, so I request you to please indulge me just a bit. So the story goes like this. It is Monday morning and Charlie is driving to work in his car. He is stuck in an unusually long traffic jam and has no visibility of what is going on. All he can see are rows of motor vehicles in front of him and behind him, and the traffic has literally come to a standstill. He is beginning to feel frustrated, and there seems to be no way of knowing how long he is going to be stuck in that situation. He uses the GPS on his dashboard to check the live traffic data and sees bright red streaks stretching for miles in front of him, adding to his woes. Feeling anxious after 10 to 15 minutes of waiting, he decides to contact his cousin Andy, again not his real name, of course, who works at the Transport Management Center in the city where Charlie lives in, and he informs him of his predicament. Andy takes a quick peek at various large screens in front of him, which shows him data feeds from satellites and live traffic cameras. Within about 30 seconds, he is able to pinpoint what is causing this mayhem. It was a broken down car inside a high traffic tunnel that is choking up the traffic. Andy then suggests some detours that Charlie could potentially take to get him to work in the quickest way possible. Charlie thanks Andy and then they hang up the call. Andy makes sure to pass on this information to the local radio station to help others similarly stuck in the traffic and thereby help unravel the gridlock. Now, I'm sure by now you're wondering what the relevance of this story is to the present course and to enterprise architecture. Well, maybe not too much, but I hope you would agree that being able to see things from different vantage points is a very powerful capability to have at your disposal. Be it the city roads or battlefields or a complex enterprise, it is obviously invaluable to have these kind of powerful perspectives of the ground reality. Like Andy in the story, who had access to rich information and views of the city roads from multiple perspectives, architecture and architects in the context of an enterprise hold the knowledge of the enterprise's big picture across multiple dimensions, and hence are able to chart out effective course of action to solve many strategic and tactical problems that the enterprise encounters regularly. And by the way, my name is Joseph Anthony. I'm an enterprise architecture and agility consultant and coach with over 18 years of industry experience. It is my pleasure to take you on this journey that explores Enterprise Architecture Framework, TOGAF, which stands for the Open Group Architecture Framework. TOGAF is arguably the most popular enterprise architecture framework according to many industry analysts, and it is rapidly growing in adoption. In this course, we will explore the TOGAF framework, specifically the latest version of this framework, version 9.1, to understand how to methodically and systematically apply an architecture framework to architect your enterprise. In fact, to make it easier to comprehend the framework, we will use a fictitious but realistic scenario to create a consistent set of examples throughout this course, which I hope will help you go beyond the theory of enterprise architecture and see the practical everyday events, considerations, and thought processes that an enterprise architect goes through. Following is a quick intro to the scenario. Web First Banking Corporation's executive board has unanimously agreed on the following business vision, which reads as below. To become the best loved retail bank in our core geographic region as measured by Net Promoter Score or NPS Index, and to expand our services into emerging economies. This vision informs the strategic objectives of the business and is actively rolled out throughout the enterprise in the form of various initiatives. The bank has created a new position of Chief Enterprise Architect and appointed Mr. Tom Weissman to this role. Mr. Weissman is an experienced enterprise architect and has several years of experience transforming enterprises by systematically applying enterprise architecture methods based on TOGAF framework. Most of the subsequent modules will be laced with examples derived from this scenario to describe how Mr. Weissman goes about applying TOGAF to transform the enterprise architecture of Web First Banking Corporation in the quest to fulfill its business vision. The objective of this course is to provide a practitioner's perspective of using TOGAF Enterprise Architecture Framework in real-world enterprises. The course delves into many details and definitions offered by the framework, combined with practical guidance and insights gleaned from experiences of a wide community of practitioners and a sprinkling of my own anecdotal experiences and insights of using TOGAF in enterprise settings. It is important to clarify at this point, though, that the intention here is not to offer an exhaustive coverage of the framework, which is laid out in over 700 pages of official documentation. But instead, the course aims to provide an accelerated overview of TOGAF, helping you to grasp the essentials of the framework by spending just a few hours listening to this course rather than taking days and perhaps even weeks going through the literature yourself. However, I would encourage you to download a copy of the official TOGAF standard to reference it as you go through each module. This course is geared towards individuals who are playing enterprise solutions or business architecture roles within an enterprise environment and want to use an industry standard and structured approach to enterprise architecture offered by TOGAF. The course is also very useful for technical architects, designers, and developers or IT professionals who wants to understand the TOGAF framework either because your enterprise already uses it or considers using this framework to organize architecture work, or because you're seeking a career path in enterprise architecture and planning to work towards your TOGAF certification, and you want to get a jump start on the essentials of the framework. The course could also be useful for business analysts, project managers, program managers, or any others who need to interface or work with architects within their enterprise. However, it is important to note that this course predominantly covers enterprise architecture concepts based on TOGAF worldview. If you want to understand enterprise architecture in a framework agnostic way, I would encourage you to check out the course Understanding Enterprise Architecture in Pluralsight Library, also authored by yours truly. Essentially, this course is structured along the following lines. The present module introduces the course and provides an overview of the course itself. Module 2 is a very busy module and it covers a lot of ground. It lays the foundation for the rest of the course by introducing you to the fundamentals of enterprise architecture, abbreviated as EA, and its value proposition to an enterprise. It does so by clarifying what we mean by terms such as architecture and enterprise. It then proceeds to define what enterprise architecture is. It then also covers what enterprise architecture framework is and offers a quick lap around the entire TOGAF framework. It concludes by covering some of the core TOGAF concepts and definitions that you need to be across to fully grasp the rest of the modules. Modules 3 to 7 covers the essence of this course. It introduces Architecture Development Method or ADM in Module 3 and offers a deep dive into the phases of ADM, and also offers some of the guidelines and techniques that illustrate practical applications of the framework. And if you happen to be preparing to get certified in TOGAF, about 50 to 60% of exam questions revolves around the topics covered in these modules. But then again, here is a disclaimer. This is not a course based on TOGAF accredited curriculum, and hence it does not replace the need to reference the TOGAF standard documentation, which is the most up-to-date and authoritative source of truth on TOGAF. However, use this course to obtain a practitioner's perspective on the subject, to learn how it is applied in real life, and as a learning aid to jumpstart your learning process. Module 8 covers the content framework, the content meta model, the architecture repository, and the enterprise continuum. That brings us to the end of the first module. I appreciate your time and thank you for choosing to watch this course. And I hope you would enjoy your journey together with me as we systematically unpack the mysteries of TOGAF and enterprise architecture. Thank you again.